back with another episode of the Make It Mastermind podcast, and this week we've got Ben Sanjago. I've pronounced that right.
Yeah.
Practiced it 4 times before we record. So, Ben, do you want to give us a quick intro and we'll get stuck into it?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I am absolutely honoured and privileged to be here, guys. I've listened to so many of your shows, and I just think the level of authenticity that you guys put across in this is just absolutely awesome. The guests are awesome, so I feel truly humbled to be here with you guys and for you to have asked me to come and do this with you. So,
Thanks for coming on, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So, I guess the best way to introduce myself is an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. I've always found this a hard question to answer because, most people answer what their job is. I don't really have a job. And the best way, I guess, to define myself is by what my goals are. So my goals always have been lifestyle, freedom, choice, income, wealth. Mm-hmm. And I knew from a very young age that the only way to achieve that was to be my own boss. So I started at a young age, growing through multiple different businesses. There's been growth on every level.
Okay.
And we'll go through some of the insights, I guess, as we progress. But ultimately now I have 3 businesses that I work within. And I also mentor other people on how they can make that change from being an employee effectively to an entrepreneur. So they can start to design life on their terms, which is what I believe life should be like, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
100%. What triggered your thought of, I know that I want to live life on my own terms? What sparked
Was
that
there ever that
thought?
moment of
There's got to be
working for that employee and being like, I don't want to work for you anymore, I want to do my own thing?
I think
Or
more than
seeing
anything,
something.
I think it was seeing my dad work so freaking hard. He was a foreman, a senior foreman so I've come from Liverpool. He was a senior foreman in the Jaguar plant over in there. And he worked shifts, he worked so hard. We had a great life, but he was always tired. And I saw him work like a dog. And he had some friends that were wealthy, entrepreneurs. And I saw these guys, these are happier. These are getting to spend more time doing what they want to do. And so my introduction and thirst for that came, I think, really early, when I was like 16.
Right.
I started learning how to build websites. This is how I started out, yeah.
All right.
So I learned how to build websites from a book, a £20 book that I took on holiday as a 15-year-old. Built my first website, and then it was just amazing. My dad starts talking to all his entrepreneur friends, and all of a sudden they start hiring me to build their websites.
Wow. At the age of 15?
Yeah, 15.
That's sick.
Wow.
15. So from that moment, I kind of had that. It just became part of me. And I always knew that is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to live a life that was below my potential. I wanted to go after it. I wanted to make what I could make out of this place and this world, and then do my best to inspire other people to do the same thing.
Yeah. Do you know what? I can kind of relate when you say I want to live a life that's fulfilling my potential. Like, I was at school and I was not really trying that hard, and my mum used to say to me, like, why are you not fucking, why are you, like, and I was like, look, I just know everything will be fine. Like, I have this kind of confidence in myself that shit's going to be fine and I'm going to do well. But where did yours come from? Because I don't really know where that came from, but I had that, maybe it's arrogance, I don't really know, but where did that come from in you? Do you know where that side of it
Where I
came
just
from?
knew it was going to be all right.
No, the knowing, how you was how did you feel you had potential? Did you, at what point did you know, I've got something in me? I used to look at other people and be like, I kind of feel like I have something more to give or something more to do. And I knew that I would get it out there eventually, but
I think more than anything, it's just, I used to dream, as a kid.
Yeah.
I think you all have big dreams as kids, right? You dream of being a millionaire, living life on your terms, doing all the things. Footballer.
Still in my dreams, that one, the millionaire one.
There you go. So, for me, I was always like, well, if I can dream it, surely it's possible. And I'm seeing other people do it, so it's possible. And I just knew that I never wanted to put those dreams on a shelf. I don't know why. I don't know what. I just always dreamt that I was going to do something. And, whatever you think about mostly starts to become your reality because it affects the way you behave, everything. So, the thought really does. And this is one of the things that we've just been talking about, Think and Grow Rich, that as a book.
Yeah.
Your destiny is completely shaped by the way you think. And I think just by literally keeping those thoughts and dreams alive in my mind, that just magnetized that as a eventual destiny that I was just bound to arrive at.
So as a timeline then, from the age of 15, you've picked up this book, you're making websites, your friends' dads are involved, you're making, I'm guessing you made a little bit of money on the side from those guys.
Money, yeah.
What's next from there?
So I went to university and
What did you study?
studied graphic design.
Okay.
So I just love that. And more than anything, I think you just learn life at university. Had so much fun.
Yeah.
Did I learn much about what I was actually studying? No. Learned more about how to drink. And so, yeah, just came out of uni and just decided that this was my shot. This was the time that I was just going to go for it. So at 21 years old, had all my student loan debt and just made a decision whilst all my peers were getting jobs. This is not what I want to do. This is just not what I want to do. And so, yeah, I made that decision and just it worked out.
Right. So you said you've got 3 businesses now that you're working with. What are those and what do you do with them? What
Okay. So the first business, and this is why whenever someone's got big goals and big dreams, you just got to make a start. Because so many people don't start because they don't think they're good enough. But to start, to be great at anything, you have to start. Yeah. So I just made a start where I was. I had literally no skills, no business acumen, just nothing. I just knew how to build websites. So set myself up as a freelance web designer. Could be fresh out of uni, right, let's go. The world is my oyster. I'm going to do this. And my entire strategy for launching that as a business was, let's build my own website and wait for people to come to me.
Yeah. I'm guessing not many people came.
It sucked. Totally sucked. Yeah, and then the thing is, I've always strived to give more value than I was receiving back from people. So the first few clients I got, I did a freaking awesome job. And then it didn't take long for me to get fully booked effectively. And then I figured out, this was my first monstrous shift. I was handed the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I don't know if you guys have read that.
Yeah, I read it.
By a client of mine. And he said, Ben, read this. I was like, okay, great, wicked. So I started reading it. I was like, oh my God, this is everything. I'd engineered myself, and this is what happens for most business owners, certainly when you're self-employed. I'd engineered myself into the very position that I was looking to avoid. I was trading time for money.
Yeah.
Rather than having something that was going to be paying me regardless of what I was doing.
Yeah.
So whilst I was busy, whilst I was making a ton of money, I wasn't enjoying life. And it was at that point where it was just time to diversify. So set up another business in lead generation. That's become a 6-figure business now, which it's amazing. I partnered up with an amazing guy who we work together. And it's been incredible. We built that from scratch. We're working with clients all over the UK now. We generate millions and millions of pounds worth of business annually for tradespeople, effectively. And you know, this is where the second biggest shift. That was passive income. That was great. It wasn't fulfilling. It wasn't making a difference.
Right.
And you know, ultimately, that business hit scalability limits. Couldn't scale past 6 figures.
Right.
And that was never the eventual goal, right? Goals are bigger than that.
Yeah.
So at this point, I got to a point in my life where I started to feel a bit stuck, almost like a victim of circumstance. Classic. Had these big goals but didn't know where to go. And it was at this point my wife told me about this new business in network marketing. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that as a business model or know much about it.
I've seen some of the models of how it works in terms of obviously network marketing, having people working under you, selling a product, and them having other people selling the product as well.
Yeah, precisely. It provides a platform for people to step into entrepreneurship and do it part-time. So, I mean, so many benefits from it as a business. So heard about that and was like, okay, this kind of makes sense, but why on earth would I want to do this? She introduced me to some of the people who were doing this, and they were making stupid money. I'm working it part-time, and had built it part-time around what they were doing. So I was like, right, let me look into this. Looked into it and just studied the business like in depth, learnt the compensation plan, and saw in this, I believe now that this is the business model that's going to change the future of the economy. Because as we look at it right now, technology is replacing people in the workforce like now. It's happening now.
Yeah.
Companies are downscaling employment and robots are replacing people. People now want more lifestyle. People are realizing that they don't have to live the same shit life their parents did, working super hard in an old economy model. People want freedom. People want choice. Yet most people don't start a business because they don't believe they can. They don't believe they've got the skills, the tools, the platforms. They don't want to take humongous risk. And they don't want to have to quit their job. So in simple terms, this is a business allows normal people to step into entrepreneurship, to learn, to grow, to move forward, and then ultimately to create almost insanely scalable business. There are people in this business earning 6 figures a month and working part-time.
So what product was this then that you was working with the network marketing?
The company that I'm partnered with is called Arbonne.
Okay.
So skincare, health and wellness products, cosmetics, and these things were not passions of mine. They weren't an area of interest. But I understood that these kind of things make great business sense because people are using them.
Yeah.
And also when you go into business, you want to be building with a classic. You want to be in a product range that's going to be here forever. People are always going to use this kind of stuff. So that made perfect sense to me. And then having a platform to grow where I was going to get taught the skills, where I didn't have to come in with a particular knowledge already, where I could be mentored by a person that was a millionaire and just follow their lead and crack on and get to work. So that was it. Like I found the vehicle. And on top of that, what was beautiful about it is it gives you a place to build other people up as well.
Right.
So I now work with a group of about 100 people all over the world who I'm personally mentoring and working with on how to build this business.
Wow.
And, it feels unbelievable to have people message me, literally, because like on the other side of the world, don't exactly have to have many face-to-face convos, to have them message me and say, Ben, this business is absolutely unbelievable. I'm loving everything I'm learning. We're growing. I've now been rekindled. My passion for life has been rekindled. Because for most people, they're in that victim situation of can't see past my current reality. And you know that if that's the way you're thinking, then of course your future is going to become a product of that as well.
Yeah.
Because to get a different result, you've got to change the way you think. And the biggest problem for most people is that 80-90% of their thoughts every day are the same as the previous day.
Yeah, they get stuck in a vicious cycle, a pattern.
Yeah, so it's not surprising why people stay in the same place. And ultimately it boils down to belief. But yeah, to be able to make a difference like that is special. And that was one of my great visions. To be able to just not be doing it myself, but just being able to inspire people. Because I believe life should be totally led on our terms. More people need this. More people want it now. And more people are starting to believe it's possible for them too.
Yeah. Who inspired you to want to inspire people?
Ooh.
Or what?
That's an amazing question. I think firstly, it was definitely when I met this lady, Sarah, because she was a dancer. Her name's Sarah Dunning. She was a dancer on the West End. Had no business experience, no experience in this as an industry whatsoever. By the time I met her, she was 7-8 years into her business with this company. And, was making 25 grand a month and working it part-time. So I was like, all right, nice. What was really special then moving forward on that is that she was a figure that people looked up to. In doing that and in creating that business, she had empowered and inspired tens of thousands of people to jump into this too and to make a change in their lives. And, I think it's the secret to living, isn't it? When you're making a difference, when you're giving, when you're, making a mark on this world, leaving it a better place than when you came, when you've got an opportunity to create legacy by impacting and empowering other people, that's the closest we're going to get to immortality, right?
Yeah, very true. Yeah, it's a great point. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that's it. I think, do you know what as well, actually going back to the what you just said about the business models, like you don't, I'm probably going to misquote you, and you only said it a few minutes ago, but about the skincare stuff, like I'm not that interested in it or whatever. Like it's actually refreshing to hear someone in business say, I'm not that bothered about the product. Like you're doing it because of the model, because of the reason, like because of that sort of stuff. Like we've had this conversation about other business ventures. Like we wanted to learn about e-commerce. Like, all right, yeah, let's start a business. We'll get a product. We'll figure it out. And it was like the actual, maybe the product is something what honestly we weren't that into, or we didn't know that much about, but we wanted to learn on
Through
the job,
trial.
through doing it.
Yes.
Because otherwise it was like the podcast, like
That's how
you
you
can
learn,
sit
isn't it?
and
Yeah.
talk about doing something, or you can do it and figure it out. And to be honest, it's been fucking hard, hasn't it?
Always.
It's been really
yeah,
hard.
it's been a challenge, but it's also been fun, hasn't it?
But it's been good in that sense. Like we've like laughed, joked, like been banging around ideas about stuff, and that's where you actually learn and grow, is by doing something that's challenging. and-
100%. If
Yeah.
it was easy, it wouldn't stretch you, it wouldn't grow you.
No, exactly. That's it.
Yeah,
That's
and I think the biggest thing for me was, and this is where I see so many people going wrong, they confuse end goals with means goals. So what I mean by that is they'll pick a business that they think they're going to be good at because it's what they like. Now, if your end goal, for most people, they go into business to create freedom, wealth, and choice, right?
Yeah.
So if you're following that that's your end goal, why would you start a business in something you're passionate about that's never going to give you that end goal? So
That's actually sick.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So 100% have end goals in mind. Don't follow your means goals. Means goals only get you to the next step. You know, a means goal would be like for example, I've got to get these grades to get into university. And then, all right, I've got my university degree. I've got to go get a job. What's the end goal? What is your vision for where you're going and what you want to create in this life? Because most people don't even think about that.
No,
They don't
you're
even
right.
think what they actually want to create. They just think about what the next step is. They just think where they're going there. And that's why people end up just wandering aimlessly through life. Life's like a sat-nav in a car. You put the destination in, you've got a good shot of getting there. Most people don't even put the destination in. You're driving around aimlessly.
Yeah. That's yeah. Do you know, it's so true. It's so true to have that. Just get something and focus on it and actually figure out where you want to be.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the passion comes. A lot of people say as well, people say to me all the time when I speak to them about this business, oh, well, I'm just not passionate about that kind of stuff. You become passionate when you do something and learn it. You know, you guys probably weren't passionate about doing this podcast, like to start with. You were excited by it, and now it's growing into a passion.
Yeah.
And now the people you're getting to spend some time with is amazing. True. And the conversations you're having between yourselves is empowering. You're moving forward in a new direction.
Yeah, that's it. You put meaning kind of in your work, then, don't you? And it just becomes something.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, like we can actually apply that to our jobs. Like
Yeah.
we both sell capital equipment. Are we passionate about the equipment? Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, we're passionate about the job. Like we always talk about work.
Meeting
Yeah.
people.
Like
Yeah.
we actually love that side of it. So it's true to what you're saying. Like it's absolutely hits the nail on the head. Yeah, you're right.
Ben, you said personal growth was quite big for you.
Huge.
From 15, reading a book about building a website. What else? What's intrigued you about personal growth, and what have you applied in your life from a young age that you still use nowadays?
I think it's all, more than anything, when you're moving forward, if you're not growing, you're going backwards. And if you're not growing, because by default, other people are growing. So it's about staying ahead of the trends. It's about learning. It's about learning how you can be your best self as well. Learning new concepts that are going to empower you. Because life is about growth. Because if you're not moving forward, where are you going? It's just the same. What's the point?
Yeah.
So for me, it's, and Tony Robbins says that this as well, that it's one of the 7 key essential human needs. It's growth and development. So for me, I kind of lost track of that. And I think maybe that was part of the institutionalization that we have of go to school, get good grades, go to university, come out, get a job, and then work your ass off for someone else for most of your life. And then supposedly, right, you've managed to save just about enough money during this period of time to retire by the age of what now it's going to be 80 odd years old for the people that are coming into employment. Like that guy's a fucking broken system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a busted old economy system, worked great in the industrial era, not now. I mean, the times have changed. People can start businesses like that. It's simple. It's simple. It's never been easier. There's never been a time in history
Yeah,
where
you
it's
pick up
been
your phone
easier.
and just do something like that.
There's
Yeah.
more
build a
millionaires
global
under
empire.
the age of 21 than ever before now.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Absolutely. And I've kind of forgotten personal growth. Yeah. So I'd kind of come through that and been spat out of that as a system. Knew that I never wanted to work for other people, but, you know, I thought that was right. I've got a degree. I've been to school. Is that all I need to learn? Yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, fair enough. I'll learn some skills, but I won't learn any more concepts. And that took me as far as I was going to go in my first 2 businesses. And then it was really this network marketing business that it like really introduced me to the culture of growing my own leadership, my own personal concepts, my own vision of my future. Because I'd lost vision. Anyone that feels stuck in their life right now, you've just lost your vision of where you're going. Maybe you didn't even have it in the first place. So it gave me a new vision, a new ideal. And then, now it's a daily habit. And anything you do daily, you become freaking good at it.
Yeah.
Regardless of how you start, it's the law of the universe.
Yeah, that's true.
If you practice it, you're going to get good at it. So, I read daily. I listen to audio daily.
Mm-hmm.
I listen to motivational videos daily. While other people are sat down watching TV, watching other people achieve their dreams, reality TV, please do not watch the freaking television.
Yeah.
Listen to shit like this.
Yeah, definitely listen to shit like this.
Yeah. But now you're right. I see it all the time. Like I've mentioned this a few times.
You fucking
on the
hate
podcast,
like Love Island and shit.
That's it.
don't
Like,
you?
I just think it's just
hate
so fucking brain numbing, man. Like, what are you learning? Like, yeah, I guess it's kind of funny. You can talk to your friend in the pub about it, but what can you apply from your life from that kind of content, man?
It's boring.
Yeah.
And the world needs more people who step up and friggin' become awesome. Because when you become awesome, you empower by default, you empower other people to do the same. You inspire other people.
So you say with personal growth, then with reading, listening to podcasts, audibles, what are some of the other things that you've put into your life to sort of keep you on track and keep you accountable for your goals?
Cold showers.
Cold shower. Do you know what? The second person to say
Second
that.
one
We had
today.
Liam Harrison.
Serious?
Yeah,
Liam Harrison and Vinny
the Wim
both
Hof
said
method.
Wim Hof of
Wim
cold
Hof.
showers. Yeah.
do the cold
100%.
showers. So what, you do that every day then, the cold showers?
I'm gonna fucking try it, man.
Yeah, I've tried it, man.
You've done it.
Yeah,
Do you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna text you and let you know how we get on when my bathroom's finished. Yeah,
So,
sorry.
Go on, tell us about the cold showers. How has that helped?
A friend told me you need to take a cold shower. I'm generally quite a cold person. And so immediately when he said it, I was like, nah, so why would I want to do that? First thing in the morning, going to take a cold shower? No, thanks. And he said, Ben, that's exactly why you should fucking do it. And then he said, I challenge you. Do this for 7 days and tell me how you feel. So I was like, when someone challenges me, you just got like...
competitive, right?
That's it.
Competitive against myself.
Yeah.
So I know when someone says to me, do this, I challenge you, I'm going to do it. And I like to test the limits. I like to push the boundaries. So I said, right, I'm going to freaking do this. You absolutely the very first time I shit my pants, I literally did a Facebook Live whilst I got into the shower, and I was like...
What is it, a 5-minute shower that you take with it in the cold water, or how long do you do?
Yeah, what does it look like?
The first one was 1 minute.
Right. Pure all the way down
Just
cold.
as cold as it gets.
Right.
And this was like middle of winter, just like now, so the water's... it's painful when you first get in. That first minute's the hardest part, by the way. After you get past the first minute, it's actually...
You start to feel a bit warmer, don't you? And you kind
you
of
just become numb. You can't feel anything.
catch your breath.
Yeah. So, yeah, I went from 1 minute and crapped myself. And, second day wasn't as bad. Third day was okay. By the 7th day, I just got in and I was like, yeah, no problem. I'm a boss now. I've just, and it's that kind of incremental growth as well. Too many people quit the first hurdle because I could have said, right, okay, like I'll try it, but then it's horrible. I'm going to stop, but keep going. And that as a principle you can apply to your life, because if you've got a goal on anything, you just got to keep going. Tenacity always trumps talent.
That's a good saying.
So yes, and then I upgraded it. So the longest one I've done is 10 minutes. After that, I was actually really freaking cold. And yeah, I've done full showers in cold. I do it now 5 days of the week because I like to mix it up a bit, because you do become desensitized to it.
And what's some of the benefits that you've seen from doing that?
Well, there's a couple. Physiologically, it pulls all the muscle to the surface, so that's amazing because it takes it all out. Just increases circulation, gets all the blood muscles. That's great. So from a muscular point of view, it's brilliant. It'll help you reduce inflammation.
Well, you see athletes thought you taking ice baths and
Yeah,
stuff.
exactly. Yeah, I mean, they do it for a reason, don't they? So that physiologically is one side, but mentally is another. Because when you can get up and when you can effectively break the program and do something so, horrible first thing in the morning, when your body's telling you, don't fucking do
Yeah.
this. Don't fucking do this. It's going to be horrible. You are going to hate it. And you go, no, I'm in control here. I'm going to boss this. I'm going to get in and I'm just going to do it. So when you teach your body that you've got complete control over it, because, you know, we learn our bodies become our mind. By the age of 35, we are literally a bunch of subconscious programs that are just running.
Yeah, in fact, sorry to interrupt you there. I'm reading a book at the moment by, I don't know if you've heard of him, Joe Dispenza.
I'm totally, probably reading the same book.
Yeah, what's it called?
Breaking the Habit of Being
Yeah,
Yourself.
that's the one. That's the
Insane.
one. And he talks about like, exactly what he said.
Yeah.
What you're thinking becomes biological. So
Exactly.
whatever's running through your mind, whether it's negative, it's going to affect your daily life in
Totally.
some way. And it's been proven through science that
Exactly.
that is true.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's big.
So it's huge. And you know what that means, like for most people, is that more than ever, I think people now are waking up and realizing that life is not just a predetermined thing. We're not just set. We've not just got this destiny. We are conscious creators of our world. And the thoughts that we have on a second by second basis, the thoughts that we have, the emotions that we're feeling, and the intentions that we're putting out into the world are literally creating our reality. And what's beautiful is that neuroscience has proven that we can completely rewire our brain for however we want to be. So you can literally unlearn yourself and learn a new person. Yeah. And isn't that one of the most valuable things you can possibly ever do? Like if you study the person that you want to become in the future and you get so clear on that vision and you have a daily practice of visualizing it, like that reality is getting drawn towards you.
Yeah.
So going back to mentally, getting up and waking up and doing that cold shower first thing, it teaches you that everything in the rest of the day is going to be easy because you've just conquered something horrible that your brain's telling you not to do. So it becomes simple.
Yeah.
And how you do anything is how you do everything.
Yeah, I read that book as well. Have you read that book?
Is it a book?
Yeah, there's a book called The Way You Do Anything Is the Way You...
Oh, I didn't
the way
know
you do
that.
everything is the way you do anything.
Right.
It's like what you should do. I've read it anyway.
Who's the author?
I'm terrible at stuff. I read it ages ago. Set myself a challenge like 2 years ago that I'll read every day. Because I was like, I'm not going to get any smarter if I don't read. So just did that as one of the books on my list. So I think I used to listen to Entrepreneurial Fire, and it came up on there like one of the books. I literally just banged all these books in like a notes list and just started buying them. That's one. Yeah, I've got it on my shelf. So yeah, it's decent, but it'll just affirm what you're already saying, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. The brain is such an amazing thing. I mean, we had Vinny Shorman on before. He's a mind coach, and like going back to the whole Joe Dispenza thing, being able to visualize, it's just like it's mind blowing. Like for me, I just find it crazy how your mind has such a big impact on the physical world. When you actually go deep and think about it and like reflect on yourself, like you can
see it more when you sat around negative people and you're not negative, because then the way they perceive a situation
it's completely
is
different.
completely different to
Yeah.
yours, and then that's when you start questioning, well, what is the actual reality of this situation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
There
like
isn't really one apart from your own, so
Yeah, exactly.
just take that.
That's an important thing to point. Yeah, that is such an important point as well. That we all like have our own models of reality. And Tony Robbins says all the time, the map is not the territory.
what does it mean by that?
Think of it. Think about it. The map is not the territory.
You can have a map of a mountain, but actually being there is
Yeah,
totally
true.
different.
Yeah.
Totally different thing, isn't it? Like because I just like, what does that actually mean? When I first heard that, I was like, oh my God, this makes total sense. You can have a map and you can look at it, but it's not the territory.
Yeah.
It could be an accurate representation, but is it the territory itself?
Yeah.
No. It's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, so true. It is true. That's something I love. Like that's a side of the podcast that I've loved the most, is getting the perception of other people's world, like the way they see things and like the way they talk about certain experiences, and getting people from any background.
Mm-hmm.
It's been the biggest thing, and then seeing that played out in front of you, talking to someone, it blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah.
100%. And you can learn something from everybody, right?
Big time.
Big time. And that's what we find on this podcast. Like, don't judge people by how they look.
Absolutely.
And you can learn something from everyone. Like, it's so true.
Like, why discredit someone because you might have like a prejudice or something, and then not even give them the time of day to talk to them, and then you talk to someone and they've just got a wealth of knowledge that you would have just dismissed and like walked by you because of some stupid fucking reason, like a reason
Because he's wearing a tracksuit.
because he's wearing a tracksuit. Exactly, like Liam Harrison turns up in a red tracksuit, and if you don't know Thai boxing and you don't know him, you'd be like, oh, this guy's not going to tell you anything interesting, and he's telling us all this fucking stuff that's going to open up your mind, and you just dismiss it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and that's it. Once you've closed it off, like, mind
It's
shut,
gone, and
not interested, and the
It's-
land of no growth.
Yeah, it's awful to be closed-minded. I just couldn't even imagine it. It'd be dreadful, right?
yeah, it'd be awful. Yeah, it would be bad. But I had kind of a similar perception about mental health before I started this podcast. I used to think like, oh yeah, mental strength is, and you can get over it and whatever, all that, that bullshit. And I started talking to people, and it changed my view on empathy.
Yeah, hearing the stories
Big
first
time,
hand.
like it was. That's been one of the best parts of the podcast.
And it's one of the things that we found as well. Like a lot of people deal with mental health
Yeah,
issues
everyone.
without
I mean,
even
everybody,
realizing
yeah.
it. Like it's
100%.
they just think mental health doesn't have to mean that you're crying in a corner by yourself or you're drinking yourself to death. It's something as simple as eating when you're sad or and not even knowing that you're doing it.
I
Like
think
it's comfort eating or whatever it is.
Yeah,
most people, it's a rising thing. This, like mental health, and I don't know what's causing it. I think there's got to be a contributing factor of people getting stuck into the phones for like an extortionate amount, like, and the media
we
and
talked about that.
and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I've suffered from anxiety, all sorts of stuff. This is one of the byproducts of building a business.
Yeah.
It can be stressful at times. And whilst I was building the second business, there was a whole ton of anxiety, and working with my business partner, we worked in separate offices. We worked from home, so I got really socially withdrawn. Like not spending time with any people other than him on the phone for a few hours a day. And we both started to get cabin fever. When we were building that business, I was working like 16-hour days, going to sleep and then getting up and working straight away. We did that for probably a stretch of about 2 or 3 months. And has it been worth it? Yeah. But did it take its toll? Fucking hell. Yeah. Like both of us were in a bad place, and then misery loves company. We were both making each other worse. Yeah. And it took something different to come along for me to break that cycle, for me to even realize that I could get out of it, and for me to just hit a limit and just say, right, enough's enough. This is not serving my own health moving forward. We need to make a change.
You were talking about robots and taking over people's jobs. How do you see younger people coming out into the workplace? Like, and then the other side to that is kind of what we had Mike Parr on, who used to be Ross on Emmerdale. And he said that his like younger family members are all very like introvert, and they're very into themselves, and they're always into their phones. Like they've got kind of maybe like not social anxiety, but something that could be described in that way.
Yeah.
Like, how do they, like, what do you see? Like, how would they go about, like, because you've got like a great way about you. Like, you speak very confidently, you don't rush what you say. So it's like, it's very kind of
In the moment.
captivating in a way, like the way you speak. So like, how would you advise younger people going out into the world to go and gain confidence that maybe they don't have?
I think it's all about becoming an entrepreneur. I really think entrepreneurship is going to save the world, and I think it's businesses precisely like network marketing that are going to give people a platform to move forward in life in a whole new way, because companies will always pay for people who bring extreme value to them. But as technology is replacing people, it's more and more efficient to use machinery. There are certain things that we cannot use a robot for, and that is personal connection.
We always say about this, don't
Yeah.
we? We were joking like we'll be out there selling robots to people because they won't be able to a robot that's going to sell.
This is it.
True.
That as a profession, it will. Who knows? I can say this, but don't quote me on this.
You probably will. It's going to go on the internet.
But no, genuinely,
Yeah.
you cannot manufacture human connection, and it's professions like sales where you get that. It's professions like network marketing where we're creating a community of inspired entrepreneurs working together, empowering each other, growing together. It's businesses like that that are going to become what people do. So, to fix that whole social anxiety thing, I'm so introverted, all I just do is live my life in my phone. Get out there and be around people and do business like that. Be around a community of inspired people. Do a mastermind. Go out there and do something, be part of a community and a group, and develop entrepreneurial skills.
No.
Because while you develop entrepreneurial skills that are going to move you forward in life, you don't become the victim of technology or a company or redundancy. When you've got those skills that are going to serve you moving forward into our new economy, one thing we can say in the next 20 years, this world's going to be a very frickin' different place.
Different when we were even kids.
Yeah.
Isn't it fucking insane?
Yeah, it's mad.
Like when you think about it.
Yeah, crazy. Big
Yeah,
time.
it's.
Big time.
Do you know what? It's like you can almost see it year by year. Like you'll see new little things come out, new pieces of technology.
But it's like a compounding thing like, at the time.
Yeah,
You just
exactly.
don't even...
You take it for granted,
Don't
don't you?
even
Like,
notice.
but really, if you were to tell me how your iPhone works, would you know what's in there? What's this technology in there? We don't know what's in there, but we take it for
We know how
granted
to
that it's
fucking
there.
use it.
Yeah, we know how to use it.
Well, that's it. Do you remember when they used to bring like a phone out every year? And like it was ages until you got like an upgrade on your Nokia. And now it's like the releasing phones all the
6 months,
bloody
yeah.
time, yeah.
Yeah, every 6 months.
And
so-
TVs? Remember your TVs?
Yeah.
We're
He's,
deep.
he's guilty for this,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Came around his house once and said, I'm not going to buy a TV, it's fucking waste of money. And then like 2 weeks later, there's this absolute fucking Titanic fucking TV on his wall. It's like, for fuck's sake.
Well, it's right. With technology, man, it changes, it
Yeah,
evolves,
it
and
sucks you in as well.
sucks you in. The way that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know, and it's going to be a scary place for the people who don't realize that and evolve. So recognize what's happening, evolve, make decisions, move forward, grow your skill sets, grow your people skills, because those will always be valuable. And, you know, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
The more and more you're doing that, the more and more you're growing yourself and realizing what's actually happening here and not just being ignorant and being a victim in your own situation. The more and more you take your own personal power and say, right, this is what I want to create in life. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to find a way to do it if I don't know how. And then I'm going to move forward. And then I'm going to use that knowledge and empower other people to do the same thing.
yeah, with what you just said there in terms of learning those skills, being able to talk to people, we've just found that emotional intelligence is such a big thing. And with people being on their phones, that's kind of getting wiped out. People are not talking to each other and having conversations. And if you think of a future of that, people just being in the phone and not even be able to ask a question or being able to say what they want, it doesn't look positive for them in the future, really, does it?
No.
In the long term.
No, exactly. That's it. And I think, you know, one of the smallest things about like emotional intelligence I find is like if people understand sarcasm or not. Like it's a tiny little thing, but it, like if someone doesn't get it, like it's completely lost and it's gone and it changes the whole conversation. But like online, there isn't sarcasm. You can't be sarcastic in
It's
a written
literal.
word.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
impossible.
yeah.
So like, is sarcasm just going to die out? Like, are people just not going
Take
to get
everything
it?
literal.
Like, it's just-
Yeah.
It could just die out. But do you know what? I had a question in my head and I don't want to just get it out there. So, network marketing can have a perception of, it can have a negative side of it. Like, not a negative side of it, but people looking in because of other companies. I don't know. I'm not going to name any, but whatever. It can get a bit of a, it can get
It's had a
bad.
bad rap.
It can
Yeah,
exactly.
what
It
is
can
that,
get bad.
pyramid schemes
It
and
can get
so
bad
on.
stick. And to be fair, I was kind of skeptical of it because all you see is what you're shown, and if you're not in there, you don't really understand it. So then by talking to you, it's actually made me realize that it would actually get you to develop skills that you would never normally develop in a job that you don't want to be doing and you'd never get out of.
Yeah,
And it's
huge.
actually like, it's kind of opened my mind to it. Like, all right, there is a fucking benefit to this. It's not just bullshit of
Sell
like,
this product.
sales. Like, because you could probably sell me that fucking water bottle and I don't even want it. Like, but in the same time, you know, what you're saying actually makes genuine sense. And then when you put it into context of the whole message, it makes it kind of clicks. I was like, yeah, all right, I get it now.
I think the point is, I mean, there are people that come into this as a profession, and it is a profession, and there are people who play at it. There are people who want to get rich quick. There are people who think this is the silver bullet that's going to make them successful. Network marketing doesn't make you successful. You make yourself successful using it as a vehicle. And, you know, there are people that come into this and operate in sleazy ways, just like in any other profession.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So
100%.
there's shit in every way. And I think, you know, the bad rap that it had, you know, 10, 20 years, well, more than 10 years ago now, 20, 30 years ago, before technology really evolved it as a business model, you know, largely it's a completely different playing field. It's a completely different game. And when you look at the facts, which are not based on opinion, they are facts. It is an industry. It's here to stay. There's $200 billion in revenue annually as an industry.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Like that as a figure, to put that into perspective, the movie business does 16 billion.
Oh.
Wow.
So I mean, it clearly works right now. It's making people a lot of money, and it's really been recognized as a primary means of delivering product to marketplace. Because like we've been talking about, people want that connection. It's based on moving products person to person. It's based on working person to person to empower people to move forward in life. And, you know, when you actually do the deep dive on compensation plan, you like for the majority of these companies, I mean, there are still some shit ones, granted, but for the majority of the top companies, their compensation plans are unbelievable. Like they make normal business look stupid. They're in my opinion, they're the fairest business models in the planet because they reward the people who are putting the effort in. And when you look at the actual facts behind the business, it makes total business sense because you get it's a low risk entry. Most people set a business up in this field for less than $1,000. You guys have probably spent more than this on equipment.
Oh, we rent here, so. But yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
Then you get the scalability and the infrastructure of a multi-million-dollar company in most cases. So you've got the ability and the platform to grow your own, like literally whatever you choose. And then you get all the training and support that you possibly ever need to make it work. That's the unique benefit. When you start a business, you're on your own in traditional business.
Yeah.
You got to take massive risk. You got to start from scratch. No one's being your cheerleader. You got to do it yourself. And this is why the majority of traditional businesses, they're gone in 5 years. And that's not people just losing £1,000. That's people losing their freaking houses, life savings. So there is no better place for people to test their entrepreneurial muscle, in my opinion. And there is no better place for people to grow amongst an inspired community of people and create something bigger than themselves than this as a profession. And, you know, I think you should only ever take advice from an expert. Everyone has an opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, Keegan had a saying about that, didn't he? Keegan Hurst, he was like, opinions are like arseholes. Everyone's got
one. I love it.
Yeah. That's word for word. That's right. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, strong.
That's it. So yeah, you only ever take advice from an expert.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, if you were going to go build a house, you wouldn't go and ask your mate down the road unless he was a builder or an architect. You'd ask an architect.
Yeah.
So most people have an opinion on network marketing. Most people have an opinion on all sorts of things.
Yeah, that's it. It's where that
everyone's got an opinion on everything, and anyone can post whatever they want now. So
yeah, most of the time it's invalid, and even worse, often based on the opinions of others.
Yeah, an opinion on an opinion.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So what's the plan for you then, I guess, over the next couple of years in growing your business? What are your goals? And I saw some interesting thing on your Instagram, so tell us a bit more about.
Yeah, my goal is to grow to 7 figures. So 7 figures annually, that is my next goal, not the ultimate goal. And, you know, in doing that, I want to create over the next probably 5 to 10 years, 10 people who are millionaires because of this business. And collectively between those 10 people and me, we're going to create 100 6-figure earners who are living life completely on their terms, who are plugged into this business, who are growing, who are absolutely loving it, and creating something that is going to be spoken about for generations. What's beautiful about the business that we're in is that we can put it in our will to our children. So that was a massive, massive thing. So when I leave this world, I've not only created something for myself that's going to be insane for me and give me the ultimate life that I desire and deserve, but then I can pass that on as security to my family. And like we've talked about, we don't know what this world's going to fucking look like in 20 years' time. So I'm putting the work in now to ensure that future generations know my name. And people say, this guy, he knew what he was doing. He worked hard. He achieved what he set out to achieve. And, you know, that's ultimately, I think, what everyone wants to do in life. It's to be acknowledged, and to be remembered, and to do something significant to them in this lifetime and pursue their own meaning of personal greatness. So yeah, and for me, that is absolutely 100% creating a community of amazing, like-minded people.
Yeah.
Who are living life on their terms.
Yeah. It's actually cool to hear you say getting what I deserve, because people like, they always say like, oh, people self-sabotage themselves towards their goals. Like, actually hearing someone say like, I'm gonna go get what I fucking deserve is, on the podcast I've never heard that.
No,
not once. So yeah, fair play. It's actually cool to hear someone say that, be open about it, because few things that people are shy about,
money and
like putting the goals out there and you know, cash, like what they want to make. I think most people's money mindset is completely fucking busted.
And this is why people have got these sayings like money is the root of all evil, or you've got to work hard to, I mean, you do have to work hard, but what's hard work? Because I don't consider myself working that hard. Working hard for me would be busting my ass at a job that I hate for most of my life to then supposedly retire and, you know, when at the back end of life. That'd be working freaking hard. I get to pursue my passion every day. I put the hours in, but it's not hard work. No. And, you know, I only believe it because I've told myself it so many times.
Yeah.
You know, it's all a work in progress, and I didn't start believing it. My money mindset was busted just like most people when I started this. You know, I was stuck in a system where I was trading time for money despite being my own business owner. You know, I needed to rewire what my model of how I made an income was. I needed to remodel how I was going to make that income, because I was running off that same model. It was only going to be the same. So to make a change, you've got to make a change physically and the way you think. So yeah, I just conditioned myself that this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to believe, and that's what I'm going to have to believe in order to make it happen. And to make anything happen, you have to believe that you're going to do it, and you have to believe you're going to deserve it. So, you know, I think for so many people, they need to get over the shit they tell themselves about money and what rich people are. All of the rich people I know are the most giving, benevolent, kind-hearted people that I've ever met. The impact that they have. You know, I'm friends with millionaires. I'm friends with millionaires. They mentor me in this business, and they're unbelievable. Donating what they used to earn annually in their job to charities. So, like, if you're telling yourself that money's not everything, or money's not important,
you're only setting a limit for yourself, aren't you?
100%. And if you said that, you know, if you said the same thing to your wife, do you think you'd have a wife? Oh, having a wife's not important. How long do you think you'd have that? So you get what you think is important.
Yeah, that's true when you put it like that.
When you put it in that context, yeah. Yeah, do you know what, one more thing I wanted to ask you before we wrap up is how important is personal brand nowadays? How do you see that developing? And because you clearly are working towards that, like your stuff online is consistent, and it's consistent with how you actually are as a person, which is probably rare.
Yeah.
So that fair play on that one. And you're actually a lot bigger than you look in pictures in real life, just for the record. Like, I was expecting you to be quite small. And what I'm getting at though is, like, for people listening, like, how important is it to start thinking about what your personal brand is, or what it's going to be, or...
That's an amazing question. Actually, do you know, it's funny you asked that. I wrote my dissertation at uni on personal branding.
When was that?
That was, 12, 13 years ago.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
You should dig that out.
Probably some...
Because I said it first.
But the thing, I really see that as a skill set as being so important moving forward. You know, we've got platforms like Instagram, Facebook. You know, everyone wants to be an influencer these days. Everyone wants to develop their own personal message and then share that with the world and use that to make an income or a business. So that as a skill set, developing your own identity and your own personal message and what you want to put out there in the world, I think is so important. And I see like millennials, these guys get this totally. I've got people coming into our business and literally smashing it on Instagram. Like, we've got 18-year-olds coming in and promoting halfway to the top of the company in literally months, and in part-time paychecks of like £1,000. Like, that's for a side hustle, a couple of months in, that's a freaking big deal for an 18-year-old.
Yeah, that's big money for 18.
We've got a 21-year-old who's living now in Poland. Her name's Gabby. She's absolutely unbelievable. I see these young people are just... Well, like we know in Joe Dispenza, by the time you're 35, you become that automatic program of things that are just running. You're living in survival mode 90% of the time. The younger you are, the easier it is to reprogram yourself to what you want to be. So these young people are coming in like freaking unbelievable, totally fearless, unapologetic, and smashing it. So Gabby's living over in Poland, and it's literally... She's going to be a top earner in this business, a 6-figure earner next couple of years, no problem. Working part-time, living life on her terms, doing it in Poland, not having to answer to a boss, waking up each day and deciding, this is what I want to do today. More people need that in this life. And, you know, that knowing your own personal brand, knowing your own personal message is one of the first ways you do that. That's one of the first ways you start to self-actualize and then start to define where you want to be and move forward to a new place.
Yeah.
That kind of comes back around to kind of self-reflection as well, which we've
Totally.
talked about a lot on the podcast. Is review what you're doing. Is it good what you're doing? Is it bad? Should I be doing it? If I am, yeah, how can I make it better? So it's like something we always talk about after every podcast. So could it have been better? Is there anything in there? That
We always
didn't say?
I always listen to the whole, like Julian edits them, and like I'll listen to them when they get released, and we're always like we'll always talk about it. Always. And you'll pick stuff out and think, oh, I should have asked another question on that topic, but
Yeah, it's a key to growth, isn't it?
It's true to life. I think you need to have people around you that'll keep you accountable, and have people in your life, even if it's one or two that you trust, that you can actually say, is this right or fucking wrong? Am I doing the right thing, or is, from the outside looking in? Because self-reflection's hard.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Well, honest self-reflection.
Honest, you can bullshit yourself, no problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
Start the gym tomorrow. I'll just have this Kit Kat now and
It does. It puts a big, massive mirror in front of you and makes you see, right? Okay, who have I been being? And for some people, they just like the ego just gets in the way. There's a part in the Breaking Habit of Being Yourself book, Joe Dispenza, where he tells you to start to really get clear and familiar with the person that you've been, so that you can effectively catch yourself when you're doing it. So you have to sometimes take a few steps back to go forwards. In looking deep into myself, I see there's still parts of anxiety that live in me. I've learned how to deal with it really friggin' well. Learn how to deal with it really well, but there's still certain things that trigger a survival reaction in me. And so learning now that I need to catch myself when I'm doing that, become conscious of it rather than just being ignorant, because ignorance is not bliss. It's freaking awful, because you don't get to move forward when you're ignorant. So catching myself doing that is like, ooh, gotta be honest with myself. And then my ego chirps in and says, no, you're not being anxious.
Yeah,
that's it. The monkey brain, they call it, don't they? Just going on.
Yeah.
Now, well, it's been amazing to have you on, Ben. Eye-opening, heart-opening.
It's been fucking sick.
People want to check you out, message you, find out how to get in touch with you. Where can they go?
100%. Instagram is the best platform. It's at Ben Sanjurgo. Sanjurgo is spelled SANJURGO.
Boom. There you have it.
There you go. That's a wrap. Done.
Thanks so much.